The WIN Consortium was created about 10 years ago, and its aim is simple but challenging. It's winning the war against cancer by implementing precision oncology. WIN is a really unique organization. It has brought together multiple different stakeholders, from patient advocacy, pharmaceutical industry, academics, the regulatory bodies, and more into one organization in this aim to win the war against cancer through the global implementation of precision oncology. In addition, it's done this on the international front, bringing together people from all over the world. The main theme of the 10th anniversary is actually the fundamental objective of WIN, and that is winning the war against cancer, the global implementation of precision oncology. The sub-themes there are several, and again, relate to what WIN is all about. First of all, cooperation and collaboration between multiple stakeholders across the world. Second, clinical trials, clinical research that is biomarker based, giving the right drug to the right patient at the right time. Third, instituting disruptive technologies, genomics, transcriptomics, cutting-edge technologies that can make a difference for patients. And four, trying to overcome some of the traditional models that we have used that are not a good fit into what we know now, and working collaboratively with regulatory bodies to do that. We have a group of keynote speakers that are almost the who's who of oncology. So they include Carl June, who many consider the father of CAR T-cell immunotherapy, Ellen Siegel, who's the chair of Friends of Cancer Research, patient advocacy organization that has been key to the progressive stance of the FDA, Dr. Laura Esserman, who is known for the I-SPY trial and has been named one of the 100 most influential people in the world, Jim Doroshow, who heads the National Cancer Institute clinical and translational research efforts, Richard Shilsky, who is the Chief Medical Officer for ASCO, and I could go on, but it's really an incredible array of accomplished scientists and other stakeholders who are making a difference for cancer. The target audience for this year, which is really for all years, is anybody who cares about cancer. So that can be scientists, physicians, patients, patient advocates, regulators, pharmaceutical industry, philanthropists, and more. So WIN is a young organization. It's only 10 years old. And, but I think this year especially, it's at a tipping point where I feel it is really making a difference. What has been critical has been the collaborative atmosphere, bringing in not just scientists, but also the regulators, not just academia, but also the pharmaceutical industry, bringing in people interested in patient advocacy, bringing everybody together to think about how can we do this. And furthermore, doing this on the global front. So WIN has members, some of the best organizations from almost every continent and from multiple countries. So we're not trying to make a difference in a silo, but we're trying to bring the world community together to overcome this disease, which is important to everybody across the world. The main challenges, we are already seeing them. The way we have classically performed clinical trials without biomarkers and based on where the cancer cell came from, just knowing if it was a breast cancer or a lung cancer cell, we now know that's not enough. We need to understand precisely what is wrong inside that cell. And we now have the technology to do that. We have advanced genomic technology. We have advanced transcriptomic technology, which looks at the messenger RNA. But it's very disruptive because it turns out that many of the tumors are both unique and complicated, what we call malignant snowflakes. Each individual is complex, and we need to give each individual the right drug for their tumor. That's not how we've done things before. And so this means redoing our models for clinical research and for clinical practice. That itself is a huge hurdle. Our first trial was the winter trial. We've now completed that, and it is very close to ready for submission as a publication. That was our first step trial, and it was being done on an internationally across multiple countries, and it included genomics, but it also included transcriptomics, really one of the first studies to include both technologies. So the spring trial now goes the next step. This is based in lung cancer. It will also include genomics and transcriptomics, but it will not include them separately, but integrate the results together. In addition, most trials often match patients or give patients single therapies. And we already know that single drugs will not cure patients. Probably, for the most part, do not give them long-term survival. So spring will give triple therapy, 3 drugs that are well thought out, that should match a substantial subset of patients with lung cancer. And historically, triple therapy is what has made a lot of advances in some of the diseases, difficult diseases, that we thought were untreatable, but turned out to be very treatable. Diseases like AIDS or childhood leukemia or Hodgkin's disease. The huge advances we made were not through single therapies, but through giving the right combinations of therapy. So that is what is unique about spring. We are looking at a whole array of exciting trials. Spring is not one trial, but there's Spring 1, Spring 2, and other trials. We are looking to bring this biomarker-based matching of patients to combinations of drugs throughout the community. Collaboration with ASCO to bring TAPR to countries outside of the United States. Booster, looking at biomarkers to be able to perform an early diagnosis on patients with lung cancer. So Our first trials are really the springboard, but we are envisioning a whole new paradigm, a whole new model of doing clinical trials and doing these trials internationally, really impacting the global community.